Good morning, Lunar Wizards. On a Lunar Wizard day, today we're all Lunar Wizards. In the wave spell of the Red Skywalker 13-day period, 5th wave spell in the 220-day period of a Tolkien spin. The stabilizing, challenging, equalizing position number 2, the 2nd day. Whatever we create or attract or whatever existence brings about on day 1 or ever, it automatically creates a direct opposite. There's a saying, every action creates an equal and opposite action. I should look up that saying, but you know it. Wi-Fi is not turned off. What are you telling me? Wi-Fi is absolutely not turned off. Every action. Let me pause. Yeah, Newton's third law of motion states that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. That's a good one to remember I think, for me, for the lunar tone. And that creates stability. We just need to look at the natural world. It is a world of stable systems. Any system that isn't stable may not last very long. And whatever we define as stable by our measure of time. And the wizard today reminds us of timelessness. I mean, the whole universe exists in the flash of a blink of an eye. And from that perspective, it comes and goes, blook, and it may be considered unstable. There are quantum particles. I read it the other day from the quote from Roger Penrose. And what was it? I'm reminding myself. The quantum particles that exist only a fraction of time, of measurable time, so short they come in and out of existence. I forget their name now. I could look that up also. And I should for my own learning purposes. But we may consider those unstable because they fluctuate in our time space reality, or in our is that the third dimension even on that level? I don't know. What is stability? We decide. And this is about our development as individuals and as collective. So your decision, what makes you stable? How does the wizard stabilize the Skywalker? If we are now ready in the 5th wave spell to explore in the first wave spell, first 4 wave spells make a castle. If we've initiated an intention as a conscious co-creator, or life has initiated through us, we may just be receptive, White Wizard. It's the 2nd wave spell. And the 3rd wave spell is Blue Hand. So we could have explored, does life want to express through us? Or both. It can be both. Or do we take the wheel and decide what we want to express? Either way, we're becoming more and more conscious co-creators, and not only in our own lives, but also understanding how we are influencing the field from the perspective of quantum physics. That quote I read on the Yellow Human Day from Roger Penrose and from Nassim Haramein. Those were, to me, pretty nice current description of a process from a scientific perspective. However, there may be other scientists that may say this is not scientific at all. There may be scientists that disagree with quantum physics altogether, but that's another matter. We are the wizards in our own life, receptive to the impulses and the guidance the universe sends, God sends, the divine sends. We send ourselves, our environment sends, our inner being sends, and we are in the Skywalker exploring our own personal and collective heaven. And what would that be? And I think it probably, I don't know if it needs to start. It's like I'm always so, every time I speak about that, like some voice in my head pipes up and says like, how's that not, like narcissistically, egotistically self-centered? There's a way to be really healthily self-centered. Tone 5 in this wave spell is, I spoke about it yesterday, red earth. So the center, you can say, of the Skywalker is the earth. Since we're earthlings, when we divorce ourselves from the flow, wait, who guides that earth? The serpent. Of course, and that serpent, the serpent in this wave spell is guided by the moon. Yeah, flow. Am I waffling? Hold on a minute. Receptivity. I am a bit disturbed by my own always wanting to, what is that? Make a caveat for, it's not this when I say something, but I don't mean that, I don't mean that, I don't mean that. I can't be talking like that, like right now. It's like, that's like really tiring. So, if we understand as humans, we hear anyone who's listening to this is any way getting this, that we are here oh, I'm limited by language. Okay, wait, where's my joy? Why am I doing this? Because I enjoy doing this. I'm just maneuvering myself into a corner where I'm not enjoying doing this because I'm getting stuck on language. And there's some kind of judgment happening in me that's not allowing my flow right now, where this is really all about flow, exploring, and I'm just going to say it, our own heaven. Tatiana, you meant to say that 10 minutes ago. What have you waffled on about? Exploring what really gives us, what is heaven to us, what is the sky that we're walking. And tone 13 in the Skywalker is the serpent, and the body, the physical systems, the perfect working of the body vessel. And the body consists, I don't need to say that always, of so many bodies. It's not just a physical cellular body. It's a system of electricity. It's a system that's connected to the electricity systems of the sun, of the galaxy, of the universe. We're all connected, however big it gets out there. Humongous systems of networks, like neuronal networks, or whatever, we're a part of that. I mean, if we look at the universe and its connective systems, sometimes you get these images, whether they're probably computer generated, but in this size of those spaces, we're probably like quarks. We're probably so small. I would care to know now, are we the size of an atom relative to that? I mean, but are we insignificant? Are we significant? Does it matter? Right now, there's a breath that enters my body, and I receive the air that my human mind says I didn't create. My divine mind says I created. And in both cases, I quote unquote I. So I can say we, I can substitute with we. There is a breath in our lungs. We did not create. And we did create. That to me is part of the lunar tone, to hold space for paradox, for opposing concepts, and to understand or to just let it be, because there's a stability in that. Yesterday I met with a friend of mine, and she told me it's a part of, in physics, it's a part of a job description, the ability to hold ambiguity, or to be comfortable with ambiguity. It's part of a job description in the field of physics. I should become a physicist. Anyhow, ambiguity. The Lunar Wizard, timelessness, receptivity, enchantment, the Skywalker, the challenge of the Skywalker, the antipode position, if you know what that is, the furthest away from itself in the Tzolk'in. If you're new to this, I'm sorry that I'm not explaining this thing every time. Anyone wants an explanation video from me, just say the word and I'll make one. As long as I don't get that word, I'm like, eh. As soon as the word comes, I'll be like so excited to oblige. Anyway, the blue night, dream time, dream abundance, intuition is the challenge and the stabilizing force for the, let's say, for the particle of the Skywalker. For the wave of the Skywalker, that same position is taken up by the wizard, second tone. However, the wizard has its own challenging position, and that is the seed. And in the sequence of the 20 seals, the seed follows the night. So in parallel to the Skywalker wave spell, we have the wave, the 13-day period of the blue night running. It walks with us. So that's the challenge. That's what we need to integrate the entire wave spell. That's what we need to be whole, to be in balance, to be in optimal functioning. We need our polar opposite to be well as us. The inner male and the inner female need to be balanced. So, as another analogy, so for the Skywalker, the explorer of wakefulness, needs to be balanced with the ability or the sleep, the dream. Whatever that means, be awake in dream time, be whatever. I explored a little of it yesterday. And today we have the seed. So when the dream from the dream field, life births its seeds. And the seed is the lunar position of the night. It all gets very technical if you're not in the system. If you're in it and you get it, it's super practical. But how does it relate to we're not in the wave spell of the night. It's just a reminder that needs to be functioning, so to speak, if I were to think of this as clockwork. the wizard, the receptivity to our own seed potential, to our own focus, and in my view, the wizard, the seed, and the eagle. The eagle is tomorrow's seal. Vision, create, mind is what the eagle represents. The eagle vision, the eagle focus, and the eagle is the most like energy to the seed. There, that focus is the eagle focus, and the wizard focus. To me, in my sense, are two different kind of focus. The eagle is really focused, it can see in a distance. As a human, you could say across time, but do we need that? The wizard tells us there is timelessness. You just need to focus who you want to be, how you want to be. And that may be very far away from your current state of being, but you don't have to place that far away in time. You may just have to understand, in order to transition from this state to another state, it may take time. It may take that which we call and think of as time. But to transition, if you have to transition through 3 versions of yourself biologically, and we could say one version takes 7 years for a full transition of all your cells to have replaced themselves. And to get from here to there, it may take 7 revolutions. 3 revolutions, 3 times 7 years, 21 years. Then we think of that as time. But we can think of that as revolutions. We can think of that as it just takes those transitions to get there. If we're talking timelessness, and I never tire to talk about timelessness, now we're talking magic. Could you shortcut that? Could you imagine if it normally takes 3 revolutions, 21 years of all your cellular structure? Can the wizard, who has the blue hand as its own occult, its own medicine, its own unseen power, healing, knowing, accomplishing. So sometimes we may have to decide. The blue hand is again attached to the yellow human in the best friend analog position, most like it self energy. Can we make a quick transition? Sometimes we want to, when we die, we do a complete transition, probably very fast, to a new state of being, that there wasn't any other way probably to get there. But how about the new paradigm to transition in the flesh to a new state? And how is it that we get there? Which bodies transform faster than the biology? And will the biology follow quickly? There are many known cases of instant remission of whatever illnesses. It just is gone from a day to the next, where doctors will look at it and be like, what, this is a miracle. This isn't possible. This should not be happening. Spontaneous remission, that's what it's called. So, is it possible? Yes. Yesterday I spoke about, can a seed be planted and be full plant in an instant? If spontaneous remission is possible, the spontaneous full growth of the seed should also be possible. The question is, would there be a good enough reason for it? In my 3rd dimension, no. In another person's 3rd dimension, maybe yes. Do we get to decide? I guess we do. And if we don't, we get to accept. Or maybe we get to choose. what is this talking all about? To understand how creation works. Does it mean we get to understand to bend the rules? Do we learn the rules to bend them? Are these rules bendable anyway? Yes, they are. Oh, yes, they are. But there are rules about bending the rules. Must be, right? Or maybe they are not. Oh, the magic of life. To become a magical being. I mean, I spoke about it yesterday, we're so about manifestation. Every human surely ask themselves, if they get to, if you're like just trying not to starve to death, you may not ask yourself, but if even a homeless person, I'm not, but I think many homeless person, maybe they don't, I don't know if they struggle. Maybe they struggle for, I don't know, the same way a millionaire may struggle for different things. But any of us, I'm having an image of like someone really close to the edge of survival, standing by the fire, has maybe eaten, doesn't know where tomorrow's meal comes from, but isn't going to look for it in the middle of the night either. Do we, in that situation, stand by the fire and dream of who we want to be? What our ideal life would look like? A person who ends up in that position didn't dream of ending up in this position. How do we end up in such a position? I am not about to explore that because I'd rather not, lest the universe assume it's in order. How to be in alignment. I'd rather explore the magic of alignment, and all reality creation gurus and guides tell us, be already in that state, in that feeling state that you believe you will be in when you achieve the goal you have. Be there already, and then be receptive and allow the universe to bring to you in time, to bring you the physical, third dimensional, or well, if it doesn't have to be emotional, whatever, fulfillment of your dream. The Skywalker and the Blue Knight. The seed is the seed potential to bring you to your seed, to bring you to your focus, to bring your focus into fruition. Yellow seed, focus, flowering, blossoming. That's the yellow seed. Focus, blossoming. Abram always says, why do you want what you want? Because you believe you feel better in the having of it. So feel better already. Or imagine yourself being in that feeling state. There was a time when I couldn't take myself into that feeling better state. Now it's easy. Then it wasn't. And but I trained myself to, okay, I want to be in a state where I can feel the way I want to feel. I can't get there now, but I can really want to be there. And that felt good. And with that, I lifted myself out of the jam of, I feel depressed and hopeless and dejected. So just that, like, I actually would like to be able to feel good. I would actually like to be able to be in charge of how I feel. I would like to be able to influence the way I feel. And if that is the route to getting what I want, whatever that may be, if feeling it is the route, then I want my ability to feel more than anything else. And for the yellow sun, the wave spell we've just been through, and I am a magnetic sun, and the sun stands for life, universal fire, enlighten, the red moon is in the planetary position, manifesting, producing, perfecting. And red moon stands for remembrance, flow, universal water, feeling, flowing. So as my conscious self wants to manifest being in the flow state, which is primarily a feeling state, but it of course expresses itself in the third dimension, in what I do. And what is there to worry about then? What is there to want if I'm already there? And that's a constant practice. Or if I'm not, well, that would, like, I can live in that state most of the time. And the 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 wizard tells me, be aware what might challenge me in my skywalking. What comes to mind for me is illusion. It's pretending to myself that maybe something is okay when it's not. And I'm still confused about that, because there's this fake it till you make it. But when I repress something, and I'm not aware that I'm repressing something, that thing I'm repressing festers and may accrue, may really create stumbling blocks, or may hold me back from really be the receptive mode. And there may be fears I'm not aware of. And I am aware of certain fears. I am in myself aware of certain things I don't want to deal with. And they scare me to the point that I almost can't think about them. I have such things in my system. I'm aware of them, and they're so extremely uncomfortable. Being aware of them, it's like I see a glimpse of it now and then. I'm like, oh, no, 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 I'm not looking at that. It just instantly causes me to completely lose hope. And time and again, I think to myself, Tatjana, sit down and look at that. It's part of my blue night. It's part of my unconscious. My skywalker needs to look at that. And who has he got to help? The world bridger, the skywalker, and with 13 days in this wave spell. And the interesting thing in this wave spell is the next wave spell is the world bridger. So we have two very, very like energies. We have 26 days, two wave spells of very similar meaning, a very similar frequency. It's very nice. And the world bridger is the opportunity equalizing, letting go, surrender, and allow for something new, trust for something better. And in this situation where I'm scared, where in this situation that I don't want to look at, I am in negative faith. I unconsciously, pretty unconsciously, but it's not too unconscious because I'm obviously aware of it, but a large part of it is like unconscious. It's like those weeds that have such deep roots. I feel like I can only ever pull out the top, the roots remain, and it's like irritating. Or it's like some big part of it I can't see, and I'm scared of the big part I can't see. But I'm in negative faith, because negative faith in psychological terms means you believing in something, you have faith in a bad outcome. And negative faith is really a bummer, because it's as powerful as positive faith. And I have to investigate that. I really do, because only that way can I take. There was a wave spell, I think the blue hand. At the end of the blue hand, I realized the thing I make so big that it scares me, because I feel smaller than it. I feel I'm not equipped to handle it. I feel it is bigger than my ability to handle it, and that just shuts me down, makes me run, makes me want to not look at it. I just can mentally understand there isn't a problem, ever a problem, quote unquote, bigger than me, bigger than my ability to deal with it. It's not possible. Can't come into my, can't be. So even here, I should dedicate some time. Tone 12 in this wave spell, it's the seed, today's challenge, and stabilizer, the seed, focus, blossoming, flowering. It's the seed stands for one more thing. What is that? I want to know now. La la la. Always forgetting one of them. Love it. Target awareness. Oh, awareness, and the Skywalker has wakefulness versus wakeful, being awake versus being unconscious. It's like conscious versus unconscious, awake versus asleep. The Blue Knight, incidentally, does not have sleepiness. It's just, or asleepness. It is a dream, abundance, intuition. So can I trust in the abundance of life and heal my negative faith? Maybe that's an intention for this Skywalker wave spell. My heaven is not a clear passage. I may not have a clear passage to achieving my own heaven fully, to achieving my potential, to unfolding, to flowering into my full potential, if in key areas I'm holding myself back due to fear and negative faith. And the wizard has the power, the occult power of the blue hand, healing. We've been through it. I can remind myself of that. That I can heal where I have learned. I can know a new truth. I can be receptive to knowing a new truth, and I can ask, in this case, the World Bridger. Today we're guided by the Lunar World Bridger, which incidentally is my chronopsy. Whoever knows what that means, great. Whoever doesn't matter. But it's like kind of like my universal self or something. That's that. I think what it means. The yellow sun is my earthly self. So the Lunar World Bridger is a great friend to have. I feel so like, oh my God, yes, thank you. So I will ask the guidance of the Lunar World Bridger, the stabilizing power of death, of surrender, of letting go, of equalizing opportunity to show me a new, something I'm not seeing. Because I must be not seeing something if I'm afraid of something. I must be not seeing a truth. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So I'm looking at something and I'm misinterpreting it. And I would like to ask to interpret it in the light of truth. And the wizard has the red serpent as its most like itself energy analog. And I'm reminded that this wizard and this serpent, and in this wave spell, we are transcending into or through the serpent, the body, kundalini, life force energy, our life force chi, flowing optimally through our bodies, in our bodies as a guiding system, our bodies receptive to the sensations of the body. The body tells us, is this right for us or not? The body knows. The body has an innate steering mechanism. It has an innate knowing. We can override it to a degree with our mind. For the wizard and the tomorrow's eagle, the antipode and analog positions switch. And that's very significant and very important in this. Anytime the two show up one after the other, they always show up one day after the other. This always significant. Every wave spell, the positions change. In this one, we've been through this in the wave spell of the wizard. We've been through the wizard, so the magnetic wizard and then the lunar eagle. We can look up what that means. I spoke about it already. In this wave spell, those two positions have shifted one further down. So we're now, where it was wizard on tone 1 and eagle on tone 2, we're now wizard on tone 2, eagle on tone 3. In the wave swell of tone 1, the skywalker. How to exploring our creative potential, exploring the creators that we are. The eagle stands for creating, creator, creative mind. It's in the position 3, linking, service, bonding. It's the mind serves the creative force of the skywalker, of the star, which is the occult, the medicinal, the unseen power of the skywalker, the artist in us, exploring our own harmony in life, our harmony within ourselves, the art, our bodies are works of art. No two ways about that. Magical. Life is art, it's magical. So the focus, the yellow seed, today for the magician, it's the furthest away. For tomorrow, the eagle, it's the closest. Not in terms of position on the Tzolk'in. It's for the wizard, a position on this 20 steel wheel, it's 10 positions away. For the eagle, it's 9 positions away. 10 positions away, it's the furthest away there is. 9 is pretty close to 10, I'd say. So it's still far away. And yet for the eagle, it's the analog. It's its own, most like itself, energy. So it's a beautiful link here. And vice versa, the red serpent is the closest energy to the wizard. So the life force, kundalini, is very, very close to receptivity, timelessness. What was the third one? Enchantment. I mean, my God. Our sexual energy, if that isn't pure enchantment, I don't know what is. The sensual world is pure enchantment. When food tastes delicious, when things feel good, when you touch satin or velvet, when you're lying in the sun and it's that perfect balmy degree, when you're looking at a sunset on an Egyptian beach in the evening at a very comfortable 26 degrees and a very warm wind, and your feet being touched by beautiful soft ocean water or soft earth, like what is it, sand, with a delicious cocktail in your hand of whatever kind, whatever, you know what I mean? That's the sensual world. It's enchanting. It's extremely beautiful. The serpent to the is the most, you know, the serpent and wizard are like best friends. Tomorrow the serpent is in the antipode position, the furthest away, 10 degrees away from the eagle. So very important to for the eagle to be close to the snake. The eagle only functions with the serpent, with its own antipode, as everyone, as the wizard with the seed. I'm not about to explain that again. We need those far away polar opposite energies to balance ourselves. I may be a woman, but I need the inner masculine to be a balanced woman, to be balanced. My inner system of active and passive, receptive and active, yin yang, need to be balanced. Not optional. I mean, yeah, optional, but then deal with another kind of balance. Aye. So exploring, we can see what is the balance, what is my heaven, what is my optimal state, how much testosterone is good for me, how much estrogen is good for me. Can I fluctuate that now and then more of this, now and then more of that? Or does it always have to be 50-50, like, or whatever, 20-30, whatever? Does it have to be unchanging to be stable, or does it have to be changing to be stable? There is something about a heart rhythm that is, I forget what it's called, but the heart rhythm, the healthy heart rhythm is not always the same. It changes its own speeds, and that makes it healthy. The older we get, if that rhythm gets rigid, and it always, actually there is a way to measure when a person's really close to death, the heart rhythm becomes extremely regular. I don't know if that's a space of hours or weeks. I think it's weeks or months. If that heart rhythm is unchangingly regular, you know that person is about to die. transition, pass over, move on, croak, as Abraham Hicks says. And so there's the world bridge, there's Skywalker. It's the closest energy to the world bridger. We've got this whole month, I was about to say, it's 13 days with that in mind and preparing for death. Let go, preparing to let go. When we die, we move on into the full light of consciousness and to the full being that we are. It's an incredibly surrendering process into the fullness of everything, leaving the body. We often hear, and I take up issue with that, when we hear consciousness is trapped in the body. The soul is like trapped, anything is trapped in the body. Nothing is trapped in the body in my books. I feel strongly about that. I used to believe myself also that we're trapped in this body somehow, and that this is a lesser, like, yeah, just because when we die we rush into the amazing fullness of ourselves. This is not a prison. The body is not a prison. We can leave at any time. Just because we have chosen, surely on a soul level, to not know how to leave when the going gets tough, because we would eject all the time. Oh God, people would die left, right, and center if it were too easy to die. But it's not. So we need a bit of this hardship where we may wish we could die now, but we can't. And then when we get through that passage, like a birth canal, we might be very glad we're still around. And Skywalker, we explore how do we live ecstatically. And you will become the most miserable person if you want to live only ever ecstatically, because that's not it. That's not balance. And it's not possible either. It's not meant to be like that either. It is a rhythmic, life is rhythmical. So never to forget that. Tone 6 is rhythmical. Always to understand everything has its rhythm, and that is needed for balance. In this wave spell, it's the mirror. Truth, reflect order. So ecstasy needs to be replaced by something that isn't ecstasy. Otherwise, ecstasy can't be experienced. Otherwise, ecstasy is no longer ecstasy. A constant ecstasy will become extremely painful. I mean, like, we may wish the state of orgasm to last much, much longer, and we can train it to last very long, I believe, up to like, I don't know about hours, but like really long. But if it were never to stop, what would that be? Highly inappropriate, and you would just not function as human anymore. And we don't want that. It's all about the rhythm. It's all about, I enjoy my food, but if I was eating my favorite food 24/7, I wouldn't enjoy it anymore. So it's so obvious. So the shift of focus, the wizard today for the Skywalker lunar position, the ability to shift focus away from heaven or to have many heavens. I'm now in heaven. For me, this is my heaven, doing this thing, talking about this to whomever is listening, to my own ears, for all I know. I love it. I enjoy it. It's not about, I don't need any feedback. I don't need, this is my heaven. I love this. And then when I'm done, I love getting on with my day. Whatever is next, I focus on something else. And I may do well to lay out my different heavens, that I'm never in a state of really pain. And I haven't been in misery in a very long time. My wizardly challenge is, like, how do I focus my life? Okay, I mentioned my blind spot. Like, where am I in denial? It's very important. And I have that one thing that I mentioned. I'm going to pay some attention to that throughout this skywalking wave spell. And pay some attention to that, pre-pave the way, as Abraham says, for the wave spell of death. Gravity, croaking wave spell of the world bridger, opportunity equalizing death. which is next. But I'm here now. So timelessness, receptivity, and the focus on the enjoyment of every step I take in my own life path. And to being that, being in the receptive mode, receiving the universe, the magnificence. I can look at the trees outside my window day in and day out, and all I see is, oh my God. I am looking at God. I am looking at a magnificence beyond my own capacity to truly behold. But I am aware of, I am in awe. And the state of awe is, to me, really a desirable state to be in. It's really close to ecstasy to me. Awesome. This is awesome. When we describe something as awesome, what is more than that? Is there a concept? If you know it, please write it in the comments. This is not clickbait. What is greater than awesome? This is awesome, amazing, awesome. I'm like that's already like the top, right? Do I describe my life as awesome? Yes. When I say that, I am immediately aware of the pain that is the opposite, the yang to this yin of awesome. I'm aware of it. Am I living at times a state so the exact opposite of awesome? Yes. Is that I'm even feeling it right now in my solar plexus. It's like I don't want to like too much emphasize that. Because the learning for me would be just know it exists. It has to exist, else I wouldn't know what awesome is. I do not need to stay there. Just touch it, know it, like the bottom point of the bungee jump. Tuck, you have to get there. It's not optional. Once you've jumped, you've got to get to that point, and then you don't stay there. You don't crash. The rope pulls you back. You've touched that point and you pull back. Maybe it's a moment that your stomach churns. I haven't done a bungee jump. And then probably if you jump out of an airplane, I've always wanted to do that. I got that as a gift and I got scared and I didn't use the gift. Terrible. But it's the truth. I imagine you jump out, that fear, you overcome it, then your stomach drops out of your body in the first jump, and then you fly. Then you fall. Then it must be like, oh my God, this is happening. This is awesome. I imagine. No, I didn't do it. Anyway, wizard. So now here we are. I'm going to complete. I wish you a beautiful day, really receptive, really timelessly aware of, as Penrose put it, and I read it out. If you didn't listen to it, this is one of my episodes I recommend. Yellow Cosmic Human. Penrose says, where was I going? We are process. Timelessness. The wizard reminds me I'm a process, I'm a timeless process in time. I'm a timeless process happening constantly. Constant change, the world bridger. Constantly changing, but stable enough to develop consciousness of my own existence, consciousness of the existence of the earth, of a stable earth that is here today, tomorrow, and the day after, an awareness that it could blow up any time for in some way. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Right now it is here. I'm an eternal being. If something blew up the earth tomorrow, if humanity decided we're going to detonate our 100 million atom bombs and we're going to obliterate this planet, we could only do that if spirit gave the okay for that. Then that would be, we would still exist, then we would experience this annihilation of the earth also. We would experience that. as the beings that we are that are currently experiencing the humanity. We're not only the human. We don't, when the humanity disintegrates, when the process of the human body reintegrates into the experience of earth, because the body is made out of the stuff of the earth, the part of us that is made out of the stuff of the ether, whatever you want to call that, spirit, white wind, the antipode of yellow human, yeah, they need to be together, then that would experience itself, no longer connected to the cells, to the material matter of the human body we're currently connected to. We may become instantly connected to the body of the earth, or not. I wouldn't know, haven't been there. Or have, but I have no recollection. Either way, it doesn't matter. So come down from metta into body healing. The flesh heals itself. We're beautiful bodies that have a life force coursing through us. We are blossoming our potentials all of the time. And it could be good for us to understand, no matter at what age, we're blossoming potential. We don't have more potential for life at the age of 5 than we have at the age of 50, or at the age of 90, or at the age of 500. It's the same amount of potential. We always have the potential future in front of us. And we're always the timeless process that never ceases, just because at some point the physical body may no longer host us adequately for whatever reason, and we might want to skywalkingly investigate, how do I keep this body being my host, or how do I be host to the flesh, whichever way around we want to look at this, that as long as we're here together, we function optimally. We have seed potential to fulfill. Yesterday I met with this friend of mine and talked a lot about physics, and then I'm thinking, I would love to study physics. And then I'm thinking, ugh, but how tiring, like would I really? And then I'm thinking, at my age, and I'm like, what fucked up programming is that? Jesus fucking Christ. Am I going to prescribe to that? It is automatically in me. It's part of the default, call it karmic, that I inherited from my cultural and ancestral paradigms. I can change it. What does it take for me to change it? First of all, I have to want to change it. If you read, I can recommend Schrödinger's whatever. I read Schrödinger's Kittens. I think that is the second book to Schrödinger's Cats, whatever. Schrödinger's Kittens. I don't know, whatever. There's a book called Schrödinger's Kittens, and it explains quantum physics. And I remember it had a diagram in there for a quantum particle, I think, or any particle to change from state A to a higher state B. So you imagine, like the diagram is a point here, and then you move the point across to the right and up, and you draw a point. So there's a point higher. How do I turn? And he was explaining the direct line, to draw a line directly from point A to point B. It for quantum particles, or for certain things, that transition can be made. It can be done directly like that, but it will not be sustained. The particle will default back to state A because that's the last known workable state. It hasn't got enough energy to sustain point B. I hope I'm not butchering this. Oh wait, I have to give a little more time to my video. So it can't sustain and remain on place B in that state. So what's required is more energy is required than what is actually required. So if 5 energetic points are required to transition from point A to point B directly, that 5 energetic points will not sustain the particle at point B. So it requires something like 7 points. And then he drew the line between point A and point B, and it becomes a curve. It goes up to a point higher than point B, and then goes down to point B, like a little mountain, like a little bell-shaped curve. And he said that route is required. That more of energy will land you down on point B, and then you can't go back to point A, because the route would require you to have energy to go up, yeah, to the top of that bell-shaped curve, and to then fall down back onto A. Do you get it? Like you need to consciously want to go back to point B, to point A, gather up the energy to do it, and then go back up and go back down. But since you've wanted to be point B and remain that, you can't slide back to point A. I remember that because I loved that. Well, how is that practical? We need to understand that sometimes to transition, we often think we want to lose weight or we want to achieve something, we take the least amount of energy it takes to get there, and then we wonder, we get there, but we can't sustain it. Why? Want to exercise every day or want to follow whatever, want to achieve something, we can't sustain it sometimes. And why am I speaking about this at the Wizard, the Lunar Wizard? Opportunity, body, seed, probably, blue hand and yellow seed. Focus, to need that more of energy. I don't know, I'm talking about that. Skywalking, somehow, transitioning, becoming, I don't know why I'm talking about this. But there it grabbed me and there I talked about it. So maybe it was worth something. So how is this practical? I think he spoke about that. Oh, I think I have to find that book and read that chapter again. The intention. Something has to be so strong that amount of energy is so much more that we have than we need to get from point A to point B. For me personally, it's like, how is it that I serve the Tzolk'in? I've spent a lot of time in my life wanting to achieve certain things, getting the energy to get there, getting the intention to get there, and then falling off that path, and then not sustaining. Unless life somehow, but with the Tzolk'in, for example, I'm totally sustaining, effortlessly. So I can ask myself, why is that? How is that? What heaven? If I skywalk that, what heaven? What is the joy factor for me? The joy is my energy, the Kundalini energy, the life force energy is an energy of joy. It's not a drudge. It's not like, oh, I should be doing that if I want to have my body to look or work or be healthy or function like that. Oh, bummer. That isn't going to really, nor is fear really a good motivator. Joy, I should enjoy moving my body. I should enjoy, if I want to look a certain way, I enjoy looking that way. If I want to look a certain way just to impress, I might not get the energy going to really sustain unless my need to impress is so desperate. But I'm going to pay a price for that I'm not anticipating. I think. But if joy, like I want to look like that because I feel so good looking at that, that it's just looking like that, then it's just joy. I'm not doing that to impress. I do it because it's joy. Or I want to be so fit because I just love moving. I love the way my body feels when I can move freely like that. Then that's a lot of energy. Then I can sustain it. I love surfing the Tzolk'in because it just gives me so much joy. It's absolutely my cup of tea. I love this. It combines philosophy, it combines Kundalini, it combines
IRL, it combines off Earth, it combines multidimensionality, it combines all the things and physics, science, whatever. It is all in there that I love. It doesn't include politics. But I could map it out into politics if politics was my passion. But I thought for a while maybe it is, but I realized that one can't go into the system as it works now and change it. The system is not changeable from within. We building a new system because that one is just like, yeah. So building this whole new earth. I mean, this channel is called Good Morning New Earth. What is this new earth thing? Some people criticize that there isn't a new earth, but there is, because we're building a whole new, like, not earth in terms of the planet. I don't think so. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't have an opinion about that. What it may be, what it may be, it doesn't matter. For in my paradigm, it's like the earth changes herself with us as she's transitioning, we're transitioning, whatever. The new earth would be the new consciousness of humans, and the earth has her own consciousness, so we are connected, we can connect, and the red earth is the center of this wave spell. And my image is running out. I am going to close this here because I have plenty of time in timelessness to talk about all of this on and on and on and on to my heart's content. I wish you a magical day. Be enchanted by yourself, be enchanted by life, be enchanted by the leaf on the tree, or if there is no leaf on the tree, be enchanted by the leafless tree. Lots and lots of love to you. Aho.